Hey class, I wanted to add some quick tips as you get started in Unit 2 in the Applied Calculus course. You can feel free to come back to this video as you learn more about derivatives and their rules, but for now I just wanted to give you some quick tips to start thinking about as you work through Unit 2. The first tip that I wanted to give you regards not simplifying when you enter your answers into MyLabs Plus. This problem right here is one of the power rule problems, the first ones that you encounter. And to do this problem, you just bring your exponent down in front and multiply the exponent by the 7. So 3 times 7 gives you the 21. And then you lower the power of the variable by 1. And that's how you process those power rule derivatives. Now, I want to do that problem again, or a similar problem to it, and show you that you really don't have to simplify to get your answers when you're doing them in MyLabs Plus. So for this one I want to bring down the 5 in front, multiply it by the -5. Now that would give you -25 normally. However, look how I end up typing it in MyLabs Plus. I'm sorry my mouse is in the way there, but you lower the power to 4. I left it in 5 times -5, and you don't have to really simplify to get the right answer. Now that kind of problem right there wouldn't be that difficult to simplify anyway, but as you get later on when you're doing the product rule and quotient rule, it does get a lot crazier as you work those types of problems. This is one of the later problems you'll run into where you have to do like product rule or quotient rule. And you can see I did the product rule kind of on the side and got my F prime, my G prime. Well, I actually enter it in MyLabs Plus without even reducing it all. Like I have a 0, a +0 on the side there for G prime. And look, if you see how I'm doing it, right now I'm entering in the F G prime part. X plus 3 is my F, and then my G prime is the 3x squared plus 6. And then I left a +0. I mean, you normally don't even have to write that, but if you look here, I didn't simplify that at all. Now you can distribute, try to simplify and all that, but you really don't even have to get the right answer. My next tip for y'all is to make sure that you're using the Remind app that you subscribe to, or hopefully everybody's enrolled into the Remind app. This is a question from Jessica during my summer class, and she had a question about doing derivatives, and she was wondering, hey, did I enter that in correctly, or what's going wrong? She couldn't get the right answer. Maybe that was her last attempt, and then I just said, oh, hey, let the quotient rule be something like this, and I was able to work it out on the side and kind of show her, like, hey, this is how you want to set up your quotient rule or whatnot. I was able to send her a picture back in Remind app. And remember, when you're using the Remind app, you're only texting me. You can't, you're not texting the whole class or whatever. But I'll definitely make sure you know how to use Remind app and you're using it for problems, especially if you get stuck on something and you need the extra little bit of help or whatnot. Just remember your Remind app. My next tip that I want to give you is when you're doing the product rule and quotient rule, especially when you're starting to make like your index card for your midterm, is to keep them kind of in a shorthand notation similar to this. And then what you can do on the side is actually go through like finding what F is, what F prime is, and then of course you'll want to do G and G prime, and this goes for both the product rule and the quotient rule. Find those kind of on the side as side work, and then after that you'll go and just plug back in the formula. So you'll keep it like in shorthand notation, really simple, and then go back to plugging it in for your answer. You can see here that I did a quotient rule. I basically had the quotient rule set up on the side as side work, and then basically I went through my F prime, G prime. Those are like side work over there. And then, like, look how I entered the answer, which I talked about, that first tip, not simplifying. Like, you counted it right when I put all that mess in, like 7 plus 0, I left that in, and it still counts it right. So, make sure not to simplify. And then, of course, you want to do shorthand notation, especially when you're making out your index card for your midterm exam. Put down the rules in, like, the shorthand notation, and then it's basically like a formula if you treat it like that. Chain rule is probably one of the harder ones to do, the section 12.3 homework, and it's because it's a composition of functions. So when you have like a chain rule problem, you have like an outer kind of shell, and for me it's that, the parentheses to the fourth, that's kind of an outer shell. And then you have an inner part inside that's like complicated. You know, it's not just x to the fourth. It's like 9x to the fourth minus ax squared plus 3 all to the fourth. So my outer shell for this was kind of like the parentheses stuff raised to the fourth power. And then I let my inner shell be the 9x to the fourth minus 8x squared plus 3. It's kind of hard to see when I did my derivative of g prime. It's cut off there, but basically I took the 4 power down front, and then of course now you have parentheses stuff to the third. You know, you decrease the power, and then I took f, which was my inner part, and I'm basically taking the derivative of that now. You do power rule on each little individual piece, and now I want to plug it in using the formula kind of that I have for chain rule. So you'll have like the outer shell part first when you go ahead and do this. So your outer shell is like the 4 and then parentheses stuff raised to the third. So like you have, you know, something in parentheses there. It's actually f if you're looking at the formula, so you can actually go ahead and type f in there. I think I come back later and type it in right there, but then I'm going to type the f prime, that's what's being multiplied on the outside, which is the 36x cubed minus 16x. And now, you know, it's g prime of f, so now I'm going to just take my original function, the 9x to the fourth minus 8x squared plus 3. It doesn't change inside the parentheses, so it stays the same. And then the derivative of it is what's multiplied behind. So that may be an okay way to do chain rule. I don't know if you want to do it like that, but anyway, there you go.